Daily Life in Daily Life in Athens by Erica Meadows. In ancient Greece, their homes were very plain and simple. Their development was to keep residents comfortable in all temperatures. They were designed using brick mud, wood, and stone buildings. They consisted of only 2 to 3 rooms with high-standing windows located on the walls. They were whitewashed to be a bright white color, and the homes of the poor were not much different than the homes of the wealthy. Location was the only difference between the homes of the rich and the homes of the poor. Men were the only people that were considered citizens in this time, unlike women, children, slaves, and foreigners. Men had the dominant role in town and were engaged in politics, their careers, and tending to their land. Men were allowed to have drinking parties where they talked politics and entertained their male friends. Other leisurely activity included sailing, hunting, wrestling, and horseback riding. Men also learned to read, write, and sing. Unlike women, who were not allowed to do anything without their husband's permission, women were not even allowed to leave the home without their husband's consent. For this reason, women spent the majority of their time in the home, and women were not allowed to be involved in politics. Athenian women were not formally educated, and the only education they received was from their mothers on how to run a household and how to raise children. Their daily life consisted of child rearing, keeping a clean household, and supervising their slaves. Women also lived in a separate part of the house called a gymnasium, and that's where women spent most of their time. Women typically went from their father's house straight into their husband's home. Fathers arranged the bride's marriage, and the father was in charge of finding a groom and providing the dowry. Men were in their late 20s and early 30s, while women were around 14 and 15. Speculation of this reason was because men typically spent their youth finishing up military obligations, or because they enjoyed their single life for as long as possible. Divorce was common but made easier for men than it was for women. Men would send a woman back to her father and pay back the dowry to dissolve the marriage. Women had to appear before a public office called the Archon and request a divorce, and the Archon would determine if, based upon the evidence, a divorce was warranted. How do you think women's roles have changed since classical Athens? Have they gotten better or worse?